Hey pals, it's your old friend Kranix from the lab, and let's get started with some news. Okay, the BBC today is reporting that an Action Comics #1 sold for $3.25 million in auction. This is a comic that sold for 10 cents in 1938. The first appearance of Superman. That's a great find and a great sell, and it just goes to show the power of comics and what I would give for comics of that quality today instead of some of the woke garbage that we have. A bit of good news now from the Blaze. Shaquille O'Neal surprises an Atlanta man at a jewelry store, and he buys his fiance's engagement ring for him. This is great. I love hearing stories like this where celebrities are doing good deeds just to help people out because they can and they have the means to. You can find this article in the link below, as well as any article that I talk about, and you can go over there and watch it. Some of it gets caught on camera, and he was in a Zales store and just saw the guy and thought he'd help him out, and I think this is a fantastic story. Yay for Shaq. We need more of that from other celebrities out there. Up next, Netflix is getting Sony exclusives post-theatrical runs. So Deadline is reporting that Netflix and Sony has signed a multi-year licensing deal where they're taking the Sony exclusive content from Starz and they're going to move it over to Netflix. So post the theatrical run, these will go direct to Netflix. So we're talking like movies like the new Spider-Man that's going to be coming out. This is also going to be covering the Morbius movie, Uncharted, and many more. When I first read this morning, I thought it was a direct-to-streaming deal, sort of like Warner Brothers is doing with HBO Max, but that's not the case. When I went back and read the article, after glancing at the headlines, I saw that was, in fact, it is a post-theatrical run. So this may, not do any more damage to the theaters, especially with my next story. Warner Brothers has announced that they are going to make their biggest movies theatrical exclusives in 2022. So 2021, we're going to have all these movies that's going to be on HBO and theatrical release. So that makes you wonder, is Hollywood now realizing the mistake they've made by going same day streaming versus theatrical release? They've kind of opened this Pandora's box with this. Are they going to be able to reverse that? I mean, I enjoyed watching Godzilla vs. Kong at home on my television and surround sound system versus going to the theater, paying an exorbitant amount for ticket prices, and also paying for snacks and stuff. You're going to drop a lot of money. Would we wait the 3 or 4 or 5 weeks now that something like a Netflix is doing, where those will go direct to Netflix? Will Warner do that where they go post an exclusive run at the theaters and then go to the streaming services? So it's still kind of up in the air of how this is going to work, but this could reverse the situation with the movie theaters. But once people get the comfort of watching new movies at home, that's going to be kind of hard. Blockbuster made fun of Netflix, and I believe when I read that investor's report, it said something of the nature of, well, Blockbuster feels that the serendipity of the customers coming in the store and looking around and possibly running into their neighbors will keep the Blockbuster business going forward. Well, we all know how that worked out. It didn't work out at all, and Netflix is now this monster, and Blockbuster is gone. So we're going to keep an eye on these stories now. I mean, that's 2 major studio stories about movies being exclusive theater and then going to streaming, and then Warner Brothers making that change. So are they doing this just because they don't have the revenues? They're not hitting those $100 million movie marks? We'll see. Or we're not getting the $1 billion movies, which we may never see another $1 billion movie. Who knows? Just because for the simple fact of the garbage stories that they're starting to put out. and not giving us the escape that we need. Up next, we have the consequences of being woke. We have a story from Newsweek that Stacey Abrams tried to convince Major League Baseball to keep the All-Star game in Georgia, which is kind of interesting because here Georgia was the backbreaker in the election. Everything kind of hinged on Georgia, and you have 2 Democrat senators. Whether you believe what happened or you don't, I mean, Georgia was a quagmire in the election. And so basically this is one of those things where you go woke and this is how you go broke. So they did all this stuff for the president, and then the president starts crapping on the new Georgia voting law, which is the narrative that they're pushing is completely false on that. But they have now pulled that out. So all these Democrats that have kind of changed the state to blue are now paying the price, as they're saying upwards of $100 million in revenue is going to be leaving Georgia. And the lady who led the fight for Georgia to become blue, in this article, it was trying to stop them from moving. So there you go. Once again, another story of you go woke, you go broke. Be sure to like, subscribe, and share this video with your friends. And if you like what I'm doing, why not follow me over on Twitter at Kranix. You can also find me on Facebook at Kranix's Lab and Instagram at Kranix's Lab, and also on Odyssey at Kranix's Lab. With that being said, friends, I will see you back here tomorrow.